So I wanted to take some time today to make a video to discuss some very disturbing things that I've been reading about online lately. Now, I'm going to tag someone in this video because I want her to see this. This is Jessica Valenti, and she is a longtime author and writer from New York. And her entire body of work centers around women's reproductive rights and abortion. And I've been a big fan of her work for about 20 years now. And she actually has a newsletter online that she updates at least once a week. I'm a subscriber to her newsletter. If you're not familiar with it, I would highly recommend that you check it out. It is extremely informative. So what Jessica does is she investigates anything going on throughout the country involving women's reproductive rights and health. And it might be personal stories, bills that are being talked about in various state legislatures, literally anything going on that has to do with women's reproductive rights and health. Jessica delves in there, investigates it, finds out all the facts, and then she reports back on it in her writings. So I want Jessica to see this so that she can look into this if she has not heard about this yet. So the other day, I read something really horrific and disgusting that the state of Nebraska is trying to pass in its state legislature. Now, Nebraska is one of those red Republican anti-choice states. I do believe, though, that as of right now, though, Nebraska still allows abortion up to 20 weeks, but they are trying to pass one of those 6-week heartbeat bans that would basically outlaw all abortions after 6 weeks. But that's not what I read the other day that was so horrific and disgusting. This is what I read that I would really like Jessica Valenti to look into and investigate and see if this is correct. So according to what I read online yesterday, the state of Nebraska is trying to pass a bill that says if a woman is impregnated from rape and reports that rape to the police to try to seek justice for it, and if that fails to result in a conviction of that rapist, the state will award parental rights to her rapist, and she will then have to co-parent her child with her rapist. And right now, as we speak, Nebraska is trying to push through a 6-week ban that would ban all abortions after 6 weeks, including abortions for rape and incest. So if the Republicans in that state get their way, women will not be able to terminate pregnancies that are conceived from rape. And even if they report those rapes to the police, if those police reports do not result in a charge and a conviction, they are now going to be forced to co-parent the resulting children with their rapists. So with that being said, now I'd like to show you some information and data from RAINN, which is the Rape and Incest National Network. So according to RAINN, out of every 1,000 rapes that occur, only 310 are ever reported to the police. And out of those 310, only 25 will ever result in a felony conviction. So that means out of every 1,000 rapes, only 25 of those assailants will ever serve time in jail. So if you do the math, that means that out of all of the rapes that occur in this country, only 2.5% of rapists will ever spend a day in jail. And that means if Nebraska gets their way and is able to pass this 6-week abortion ban with 0 exceptions for rape, that means that 98% of women who become pregnant from rape in the state of Nebraska will have to co-parent with their rapists. 98% will have to co-parent the resulting children with their attackers in the state of Nebraska. I literally cannot formulate the words to describe how disgusting, barbaric, and sadistic that is. This has never been about protecting life. Do not kid yourselves. It has never been about that. This has always been about one thing and one thing only: controlling and oppressing women. And I want to point something else out here that I don't think a lot of people have stopped and realized yet. When you live in a state that has banned abortion, even in cases of rape, meaning if you become pregnant by a rapist, you have to give birth to that rapist baby. What that essentially means is that the men in those states can choose any woman or girl they want to birth their children, and there is nothing those women can do about it. No, seriously, I want you to stop and really think about this for a minute here. In states where women are not allowed to abort pregnancies that are conceived from rape, a man in those states can come across any random woman and look at her and think, wow, she's really pretty. I like her. I want her to have my babies. And then all he has to do is SA her and hope that it gets her pregnant. And if it does, she has to give birth to his baby. And there is literally nothing that she can do about it. The men in those states can literally choose any woman they want to become the mother of their children. And on the flip side, the women in those states no longer have the right to decide who they want to father their children. If those women are SA'd by a man and become pregnant from that attack, they have to give birth to that man's children. There is no way out of it for them. So in states where women cannot legally abort pregnancies caused from rape, men can choose who the mothers of their children will be, but women cannot choose who the fathers of their children will be. Women in those states have been demoted to the status of livestock with these laws. Really, think about it for a minute. Livestock don't get to choose who they breed with, and now women in those states don't either. They don't get to decide who the fathers of their children are going to be. It's going to be forced on them. And as I just stated earlier, only 2.5% of all rapists ever end up getting convicted and serving jail time. 2.5%. These guys are not afraid of getting caught and going to jail. They're not. Because they know that the vast majority of the time, they're going to get off scot-free. They know this. So they're out there attacking women with impunity, knowing that nothing's going to happen to them. It's the women who are suffering the consequences, not the rapists. The women are paying the price for their actions. Guys, we cannot afford to have any more apathy or laziness from the left when it comes to voting. We can't anymore. It's beyond that. It's do or die now. We have all got to get out there and vote in every single election. I'm talking town, county, state, federal, every election, no matter what level it's at, you have got to get out there and vote. If you sit at home and don't vote, this is how shit happens. We have to vote, every single one of us. If we don't, this is going to get worse and worse and worse. So please, for the love of God, get out there and vote every single election.